Good morning and welcome to this Q4 report with genetic analysis. With me on link from Oslo, I have Ronny Hermansen. He's the CEO of the company. Welcome, Ronny.
Thank you, Kaisa.
So let's begin this interview by having a look at the numbers. Operating income amounted to 7.6 million Norwegian kroners compared to 3 million, and net profit stayed roughly the same, minus 7.1 million compared to minus 7.8 million. Are you happy with the result, Ronny?
Yes, Kaisa, I'm actually very happy with the results. I think it actually underlines that revenues are ramping up nicely in GA now. We have a continuous growth quarter by quarter. And being a diagnostics company that plays out instruments in the lab, it's very important to have recurring revenues, so reagent sales. And the most interesting to see here is that the key business of reagent kit sales has increased by 300% in Q4 2021 compared to 2020, and it's 100% increase year by year. So we really now see that we are getting results out of our placement strategies towards customers.
Yeah, that's
Costs have also increased, of course, as planned. We had lower activity in 2020 due to COVID, so this is quite as expected.
That's impressive growth there, Ronny. And you've been listed on the Spotlight stock market now for around 3 months, or is it more?
Yeah, from 1st of October.
And how has the first time been?
Yeah, we had a very successful listing with an oversubscribed IPO. We are very happy about the listing on the Spotlight market.
Yeah.
And the company has a very highly competent board and management, so we were well prepared for the listing, I would say. The other benefits we see by being a listed company is that we get more traction out there. We are more noticed in the markets, and that also helps us commercially. So again, very happy being a listed company. But of course, the financial markets have been very bumpy lately in Q4 in January, February, and that has also affected GA as a biotech company. But if we look at our very strong pipeline of press releases, news flows that we have submitted during the last months, just like new readout platforms, new versions of our GMAP technology with much more sophisticated algorithms that is really loved by the customers. We have entered into an agreement to commercialize our products in China. We have now the new high-volume customer in Europe has launched their products. So if you look at all these positive news, we are very well fueled for future growth, I would say. This is very strategic, important news from GA.
Yeah, you've been very busy during the last quarter, and like you mentioned, you have expanded your commercial potential by adding another readout platform. Tell me more about this, Ronny.
Yeah. Again, readout platforms are very important for diagnostics companies because, the more platforms, the bigger the market size that you are approaching is. So we are very happy with the collaboration that we have with Luminex. They are known to they are a world leader, I would say, in readout platforms within this segment. And now we had the ability to add our test onto another Luminex readout platform. We have, of course, done development work over the last 1.5 years to make this possible. And this platform is much more, it's a cheaper entry for the lab to do our test. But it has the same quality. And so it actually just increases our commercial bandwidth, I would say, to have more readouts platforms.
And you've also entered an agreement with Eurofins bioanalysis. What does this mean for your company?
Yeah, Eurofins is a global leader in bioanalysis, more than 55,000 employees, I think, and they have a segment where they work with CRO business, so clinical research, and they are a very, very big provider of diagnostics or analysis for that segment. In the recent years, clinical researchers want to have more and more microbiome endpoints into their studies. And it's very encouraging to see that they have also started to ask for a more standardized diagnostics approach into their clinical settings. So this is why Eurofins wants to offer our test as a supplement to what they already offer. So this is a very interesting strategic area. Will probably not be the biggest volume-based turnover, but it's very strategically important because you get into the clinical studies, you are close to the pharma companies, etc. So this is very important area for GA.
Speaking about offering your product, I got a question from a viewer here that wanted to know a little bit more about, because you previously mentioned that you might sell the GA map directly to customers. What can you say about this, Ronnie?
Yeah, I can say that currently we have 4 segments in our business that we work with. It's the more traditional clinical diagnostics. It's the research, the clinical research business, which is represented here with Eurofins, for example. Then it's more the pharma collaborations, and the last one is direct to consumers. And that segment is something we think will really take off going forward because of due to COVID and so on. There are so many people out there who are much more worried about their health, and they want to then they also see that microbiome is very important here. So how can we approach the direct-to-consumer market? Well, we could do it 2 ways. We can fuel the labs that already sell tests to the consumer market. So that's within our bandwidth. It's easy. We are actually working on doing that. But we can also approach more of the consumer directly by setting up our own business. And this is also something we'll look into.
Okay, so we will have to wait and see how you approach that. You've also achieved 2 patents, one from China and one in the US. What does this mean for your company moving forward on those markets?
Yeah, we got a very important algorithm patent approved in China. Our algorithm is really the core to our business. So that was very good news flow. And in the US, we got a treatment patent approved where we can go in and predict the outcome of treatment. Just to mention that. And of course, what is important with that? Well, of course, patent protection is important because you protect your business. But I think it also shows the bandwidth again of what GA is involved in, the possibilities of the GMAP technology. And it demonstrates that GA is much more than what we talked to in the start, what we are currently selling. We are really pioneering the microbiome space with standardized diagnostics. And if you just see on the patent approvals we get, we are working with so much more than what you see on our top line today.
Very interesting. I wanted to know, before we wrap up this interview, I wanted to know a little bit more about the microbiome testing market. How big is it, and what trends can we see, and what can you say about the future of it?
Yeah, the market today has been assessed by several, and they say it's about $1 billion. And it's very research driven. But it's anticipated, I think, to be doubled in the next 5 years. And what will drive this growth is pharma companies are now delivering or soon market microbiome altering drugs that comes in. There are several companies where have the product projects in phase 3 in the US. And diagnostics, of course, is a very important player. Because we should remember, up to now, the diagnostics out there is very research-based tools that they use in diagnostics. So that will drive this growth. And currently, GA is the only pure diagnostics player out there. So that's why we strongly see that, microbiome profiling will be a game changer in modern medicine. And that is why we want to be, a part of this. And we see that diagnostics is an important growth factor in this microbiome market.
I got another question from a viewer. He wanted to know, what geographical area are you most focused on today?
Yeah, today it's US, that's our biggest market. But Europe is coming nicely on. And in Europe, you have Germany is a very big market. And you saw with our recent news flow that our new customer in Europe has just launched. So we're happy for that. So Europe will grow. And then you have China, just to mention that, where we just also released a new press release. And that market is huge. I mean, we should just think in southeastern part of China is about 500 million people. That are, very focused, and they get the same diseases as us, IBS, IBD, etc. So I would say US, Europe, and China is our main focused market going forward.
Thank you, Ronnie. And speaking of going forward, what will you be focusing mainly on during the new year?
Well, as I kind of said, it's growth. But, we will continue to build the pipeline of important customers. So new labs that either are performing microbiome analysis with old technology and get them to switch to the GMAP or introduce our products to the new labs. And then we will also focus, of course, to keep progress on our core R&D activities. So I think that's the two main targets for 2022.
Before we wrap up this interview, is there anything you would like to say to investors, or anything that you think investors should keep an extra eye out when it comes to genetic analysis?
Well, as I said in the start, we will be the leading diagnostics player in the microbiome space. So I think you should just stay tuned and watch us.
Thank you so much, Ronnie, for joining me today, and good luck now moving forward.
Thank you, Kajsa.